Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. One.
Word, but it's been from ending people's careers to knocking you out to insulting God Almighty. All that's coming from this side. So we understand what goes on. And I think it's a lot of doubt, it's a lot of anger. I don't see Coach Jackson here today. And to be honest, I don't expect to see him June 17th because you got to put the blame somewhere.
Virgil, just like we didn't see you yesterday in New York, we're not seeing John here today because he has a huge fight this weekend. He's training his fighter. We'll see you in June. Don't worry about it.
I'm here today. That's all. I'm here today.
All right, we weren't here yesterday. What was the problem?
You're here? I'll wait till you finish. You done? Okay. I don't see Coach Jackson here today. We'll deal with that situation a little further on down the road, and I'm sure will upheave the whole boxing world. See, there's some things that go on in this game that
Good shit.
when you have the right channels and when you have the right avenues, you get information quite accurately. My advice is relax, don't be uptight, but you can't drink year in and year out and expect at some point for it not to catch up to you. And I would bet money that if we could go internally inside, that's one of the causes that is causing him to fatigue now. It's not the overtraining, it's not this and it's not that. It's same guys, just that guys are standing up and going 12 rounds now. I mean, that happens in boxing. But you can't drink vodka year in and year out and expect on fight night to fight somebody like Dre. And incidentally,
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. 2017, I got you guys covered. A lot going on. A fight that we all should be looking forward to. Another meaningful rematch of a controversial fight. June 17th, it goes down, Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas. That's none other than light heavyweight champion Andre Ward stepping up to the plate, even though some people thought he wouldn't. Some people thought he would retire. He shows that that's not in his DNA, and he's fighting the Crusher, a guy who knocked him down in round 2, gave him a tough, very competitive fight. Now, they did a press tour. That's over. They stopped in 3 cities, New York, Oakland, California, where Ward is from. I went to that stop, had a great time. I couldn't interview Kovalev because after the face-off, he kind of mumbled something and said, "I will finish your career," and then he put his hat on and kind of left and just walked out, so didn't get anything with him. And then they concluded in Los Angeles. Now they're free to go to their training camps and start working for June 17th. Now, one thing that came up when Virgil Hunter was up to speak in the Oakland, which you guys seen the clip at the beginning, was now Team Ward, they were throwing subtle darts and little subliminal jabs, and I did a separate video talking about the psychological warfare, the art of war, the Sun Tzu stuff, and the videos on the channel, you guys could check that out. In my honest opinion, I think that Team Ward, at least at the Oakland, and just kind of, I've seen most of the headlines and interviews from the 3 press tour stops, and in my honest opinion, I will say Team Ward came out the victors of the psychological warfare battle. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to be the victor of the fight. It doesn't mean anything like that, but in my honest opinion, I like the little subtle jabs and stuff that they were taking. Like, to me, Team Kovalev, it's just like it reminds me of, some of you guys won't relate, but I'm a huge movie buff, and it reminds me of the new horror movies now versus the old horror movies, like classics, like sci-fi horror movies like The Thing with Kurt Russell. Now, the thing is, The Thing with the Thing, that sounds weird, but movies like that, The Thing with Kurt Russell, it was suspenseful. They did the shocking music, you know what I'm saying, when somebody pops out or whatever, but it made you think a little bit more, because in case you guys haven't seen the movie, the premise, they're somewhere in Alaska or whatever, some science lab or whatever the situation is. There's an alien ship that crashed, and the aliens have the ability to be like body snatchers and assume the role of humans. So there's a whole lab crew or whatever they are, like isolated in this one building, you know what I mean, in the freezing Arctic, and you gotta figure out who's kind of being inhibited by this alien, you know what I'm saying. You don't know who's a real person and who's the alien, because it looks and talks kind of like the T-1000 or whatever, you know what I mean. It can assume the role of that. But I like movies like that, the horror movies back in the day, because it wasn't just about a bunch of gore and ripping people's limbs out and eyes out, you know what I'm saying. I mean, obviously you had campy movies like that, but a lot of the older scary movies, they make you think a little bit more, like what if, especially like Alfred Hitchcock and stuff like that, what if birds really went crazy and start pecking people? But you look at some of the new scary movies and it's all this like The Grudge and shit coming out of the TV, or it's Saw type of movie. I want to play a game. You've spent your life torturing your coworkers. Now the torture is on you. I've placed a key inside of your testicles. You're chained up. To free yourself, you must cut off your nutsack. Like, what? What are you talking? You know what I'm saying? Like, just kill me already. But just so you guys know what I'm talking about, that's what I noticed with a lot of horror movies. They don't really make you think. There's not like a character development and a real big build up and stuff like that. It's just like somebody gets their head chopped off, or, you know what I mean, brain splattered, or, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And to me, the reason I brought up this reference is because what Kovalev has been doing in the lead up and the build up to this fight is more horror movies now. It's just the in your face stuff, like, oh, I'll end your career. And everybody, I promise, I end his career. You know what I mean? It's just like some Ivan Drago 80s movie, like, and it's good because it helps sell. I don't have a problem. Kovalev could do whatever he wants. Ward could do whatever he wants. I'm just giving you my honest take on it. I just think the Kovalev stuff is just more like in your face, like shock value. Oh, I'll end your career. Pick up where I finished. You know what I mean? But what Ward's team has been doing, Jay Prince, Virgil Hunter, and even Ward, is a lot more subtle. And to me, I think they won the psychological warfare. Again, doesn't translate. This is still a tough fight, 50-50 fight, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't have nothing to do with the first fight. That's just my honest opinion. And the reason I like what Team Ward, they placed little seeds in these press tour stops and stuff in the media. Like, they're promoting fear. And in the stare downs, I seen like Kovalev cutting away first. Like, so the guy who is the big bad wolf and the bully and the power and the crusher, and yeah, it's a real piece of shit. And this guy, the Ivan Drago, modern day, he's the one cutting away first. And Ward keeps putting this notion out like they're trying to sell us fear, but we're not buying it. I didn't have to take this fight. I took this for the fans, and I took it because I want to clear the air, or whatever his reason is for taking it. So to me, they're getting, Team Ward is kind of getting the upper hand in the first round. Also, you had Jay Prince who did some gangster shit and really kind of just threatened Kovalev, like, yeah, this is Oakland, what they call town business. So you best keep this in the ring, because you wouldn't want to be out here and having some other way on some street stuff, or some, you know what I mean, some goon stuff. So little stuff like that. I don't know if you guys caught this. There's little snarky, sneaky, subliminal jabs. And I mean, I can't say it. I'm not Jay Prince, but Jay Prince kept calling him Sergio instead of Sergey. And I think that was deliberate. I don't know. Again, maybe he doesn't know his name, but he was like, and Sergio over here, Sergio. And he kept saying Sergio, and people were laughing because his name is Sergey. So I think that was by design. Little stuff like, you know what I mean, we don't care. Ward went on, gave his pound for pound list on Libra, and he said, you know, I'm not putting Kovalev on there, because he was one of the options. So little stuff like that. Now, fast forward to what Virgil Hunter said, Ward's longtime trainer and friend. Virgil Hunter made a comment that made a ton of headlines saying Ward is a disciplined, basically a God-fearing man, and he doesn't abuse his body. He's very surgical, methodical, and he takes care of himself year round. So I don't see what Kovalev is going to do in the second fight with a guy who lives that clean type of lifestyle and doesn't abuse himself versus a guy who he basically labeled as an alcoholic, says he binge drinks or drinks too much vodka. He said something, you guys seen the clip at the beginning. I'm just paraphrasing. So I like those. These are all good digs. You got Kovalev doing the less subtle stuff in your face. Oh, I'll end your career and pray to me, I'm your God, and all this. Then you have Ward's team taking these little things, but I think these are more, the Ward team, they're doing more clever things that would kind of make you think, you know what I'm saying? Because we all know, the world knows, I was at the fight November 19th. I'll be at this fight, right? The world knows Kovalev did significantly better in the first half, and he appeared gassed. He was still trying, still game, still a champion, but he didn't take the same type of stance and approach, and his work got a bit sloppier towards the second half. So I don't know. I don't know if Kovalev has a drinking problem or if he loves vodka or tequila, or I don't know anything, you know what I mean, in terms of his personal life like that. However, it seems as if it goes together based on the fact that he was gassing out. So Virgil Hunter was saying something like, he basically, people talk in the industry, and he has been privy to some information, and that's true. So I can't tell you if it's true or false because I don't know Kovalev like that. I've been to his events, his roundtables and stuff. I don't know what he does in his spare time. You know what I mean? If he wants to drink, he's a grown-ass man. He's over 21. He can do whatever he wants. But if it is in fact true, and this is what I like about it, it's just like me being a YouTuber and a vlogger, and you know what I mean, as I get bigger, people are recognizing me, the hate gets better and bigger, and so does the love and the adoration, you know what I'm saying? So when people say stuff that I know is not, oh, you're gay and you like Canelo's penis and stupid stuff, okay, like that's dumb. Okay, I'm gay. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not true, so it's easy to wipe the dirt off my shoulders, block that person, and move on with my life. Now, if somebody said something that was true, like, man, you and your ex-girlfriend, you peed the bed, and you was 23 and you peed the bed, wet the bed, everybody know, you know what I'm saying? And something like that, and it, hypothetically that was true, that would be more embarrassing for me, because I know there's reality to it. There's truth behind that. Like, damn, I did wet the bed when I was 23. Shit, you got me. You know what I'm saying? So again, I don't know if Kovalev has a drinking issue, but if Virgil Hunter seriously did hear that or got tipped off or whatever, some anonymous person, whatever, people talk, and they do talk in this industry. I know a lot that, I got a big mouth and I got a lot that I keep that I don't tell people about, like little behind the scenes stuff that I could easily get views off of if I told, but my credibility and my pride, and you know what I mean, just having a respectful name. Some people tell me certain things and let me know it's in confidence, and you kind of know what not to tell and what to repeat. So I respect that, and I respect my relationships with people. But I could clearly make videos like, oh, I heard this person got fucked up in sparring and stuff, but I'm not here for that. I don't have to do that, but it would easily make headlines. That's what I'm telling you. But again, if Virgil Hunter did get tipped off for this alleged alcohol substance, not substance, but, well, I guess alcohol is a substance, I don't know, but just this vodka stuff, and if Kovalev knows it's true, if it is in fact true, then that's a good jab, because you're already coming in with a lot of anger and angst and gassed out in the first fight and emotional. You're coming into this fight like an emotional being, so it kind of plays into Team Ward's hands. They know for a fact, unless Kovalev switches it up and he just tries to box even more beautifully. But based on how mad he seems, I don't really see that. I see him kind of, oh, I can't win on judges' scorecard, I'm going to try to knock him out. And I think Ward will be, him and his team should be preparing for that, for a rugged first 4 rounds or something. Like Edwin Rodriguez, that fight was very rough the first 3 rounds. So either way, I like it, man. I mean, because this is almost like some movie stuff. Like, you know what I mean, some Rocky IV or whatever, Southpaw, one of them movies, Creed, that Ward was in, you know what I'm saying? It's like that, because you really have contrasting characters. You have this American champ, and this ain't Hollywood, so the American champ doesn't get the same type of love as foreign fighters and foreign champs. We know this, and we know why. And he's the more wholesome guy, nicknamed SOG, Son of God, and he's like, man, my teammate, he's not no punk. He's from Oakland. Don't get it twisted. but he's like, our team, we're not moved by that. They could say this, kneel to your God, bow before me, General Zod, all that, you know what I'm saying? All this, pray to me. We're not moved by that. He knows what it is, and he knows what it's going to be. He got to see me, right? So he's just putting his foot down, but letting them know they can't sell fear. Then you have Kovalev, who is almost the polar opposite. He's being petty. He's coming in with like insults and trying to do whatever to dig the nail in or dig the knife in and get under Ward's skin. So it's really getting good. And it's good because you need that. You know what I mean? We had it with De La Hoya and Floyd. Floyd was the villain. He's like, I want to be the villain. You know what I'm saying? So be it. De La Hoya wasn't the villain. He was the golden boy. So it's kind of like roles are reversed. Now the black guy is non-villain, and then the foreign fighter is the villainous one in terms of how he's acting. I'm not saying Kovalev's a villain like that. Now, speaking of the alcohol thing, another Virgil Hunter jab was he alluded to the fact that that John David Jackson was the fall guy. Basically, he was the fall guy, and he wouldn't be in the camp or something. That's what he had heard. Now, Ring TV, shout out to them, link in the description. They wrote an article, and they decided after hearing that to reach out to John David Jackson, and his word were still with Kovalev-Yes. Okay, so they said, okay, so nothing to the Hunter talk then. They can do that because if Sergey does what he's supposed to this time, Jackson said, he not only wins one-sided, but he stops Ward. Ward and Hunter have great chemistry together, so Sergey has to bring his A-plus game this time. So that's what he's saying. He's saying he's still in the camp. Now, I don't know. I don't know what Virgil Hunter heard. I don't know if there's truth to John David Jackson was the fall guy or they were blaming him. I did remember seeing articles and headlines after the first fight saying that Kovalev was bringing in like a Russian trainer as his head trainer. So I've heard the commotion of this. I just don't know what's true and what's not. Maybe Kathy Duva said, oh, it's not true. You weren't at the New York press stop. That's why John David Jackson's not here. Now, the only thing, again, I don't know what's true. I don't know who's in Kovalev's corner. That's some main events, and Kovalev got to determine with John David Jackson or whoever. But one thing that is weird is how come, if he is your trainer, how come he wasn't at none of the stops? Like, okay, for whatever reason, Virgil Hunter didn't go to the New York stop. That makes sense to me because I live 30 minutes away from Virgil Hunter's gym, roughly, right? Well, with traffic, it's probably like 2 days, but I don't live far, right? And it's coast to coast traveling, so sometimes you don't want to travel. And he does have other fighters. Berto has a fight coming up this week. Berto versus Porter. The fight week is happening this week, and Fonfara is fighting Adonis in a rematch. So, I mean, to me, even Virgil Hunter not going to the New York, I can understand that because he has fighters that are actually have signed fights. So maybe he didn't want to travel across coast for that, right? But to my knowledge, he went to the other ones, right? Or he definitely was at the Oakland one. So that makes sense. But I personally, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, I haven't seen John David Jackson at any of the press stores. At the Oakland stop, the New York or LA stop, I didn't see John David Jackson. But Ring TV reached out to him, and he says he's still with Kovalev. So I don't know. And again, using the same excuse or exception that I said for Virgil Hunter, having Berto that he's training, and also Fonfara that he has to really start camps for because they have signed fights. I don't know of any marquee fights that John David Jackson has. Chris Algieri, Curtis Stevens, guys that are with John David Jackson. Curtis Stevens just got knocked out by David Lemieux. He's probably just chilling and kind of recovering, taking some time off. So I don't know of any John David Jackson fights that he has on the books to the point where he wouldn't be able to make one of three or any of the stops. And again, maybe you guys have footage. I personally haven't seen John David Jackson interviews in none of it, but he's saying he's with Kovalev. You let me know what you think it is. Will they go back to him? Were they trying to separate ties? I don't know. You guys let me know what you'll think. And I'm just looking forward to this fight in June. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.